that's the other one. Never mind.
Other country greeting.
Other
Friendly European.
Hello.
Hello.
I know you guys do not like our accents, but you're gonna bear with them today because it's all about Europe. Okay. Well, Brandi, why don't you hit us with the rundown so we can get started?
I can do that. We have a little bit of a rundown today. I just need to find it. Why don't you tell us something else while I dig the rundown up?
Well, I'm sporting my green Batesville shirt because we're going Irish today, the luck of the Irish. And when this comes out, happy St. Paddy's Day, everybody.
Yeah, the day that we premiere this Folkland will be St. Patrick's Day, and I hope everyone, knows about the 3 sides of the shamrock and that origin story because it's a good one. All right, I'm ready to.
Maybe you'll have to share that. Okay, go ahead.
I'll do that. Okay. On episode 140 of Nateland Europe, featuring Greg Warren, who reappeared after a quick cameo by John Augustine, we missed Dusty Slay again. The guys recorded 2 in a row to cover Nate touring Europe, which he's at right now while we're recording, but maybe home by the time you see this. Technology. Brian came in hot with the ad reads. Well done, breakfast. Aaron broke up his CPAP act to spotlight his stage towel this week, much to Greg's dismay. And Nate wrapped his mind around the pond jump that he was about to partake. That's about it.
It was really funny. I don't think Nate even wrapped his mind about Europe as they were talking about Europe. And he was sharing so many things and they were being corrected so quickly. But it's fine. I related so much to Nate in this episode because I only know so much and I don't know if, what my European heritage is because my family comes from Puerto Rico. So obviously I do have European origins as many do on the island. I just don't know what they are. But you have a little bit more information about yours.
I do. I did one of those DNA tests a couple of years ago and I found what, I kind of thought I was going to find, which was that I'm about as European and pasty white lady as I can be. I was more white. I was more white than I even thought I would be. We've always, most American families have the stories about how we have Native American heritage, as does mine. And according to my DNA, which I know comes a long way over time, but right now, as of now, we have no proof of any Native American heritage. I'm all just very, very European. And the good news for this weekend is that I am 6% Irish. I got a paper right here to prove it. So
nice.
Good. Me right here. I'm Irish.
That's awesome.
Yeah. That's when I didn't think I could get any more white. I kept reading. And I was like, let's throw a little Sweden in there. Denmark, huh? I mean,
just pile it on. Just pile it on.
I don't look more like Jim Gaffigan. I really don't. I mean, how am I able to walk out into the sun at all? With this,
I know
it is a lot. It's a lot.
It's a miracle.
It is. Anyway, that's all I got for that.
I love it. Well, let's go to some comments. There's 2 comments I wanted to share this week. ETP, of course, he had did his review for Folkland podcast review number 33, The Return of Greg Warren, and this is a portion of the review that I wanted to share. He says the ETP review was a staple of the podcast, but if you're only going to read a few lines from the highlight of the show, I'm going to write a few lines. The rundown was as solid as the Pringles at the bottom of the can, which was kind of a dig. Hold on. And then he says, Brandi, you have a crumb in your hair. Love the little flips, though. Very fun. Absolutely adequate job, gang.
Okay, ETP, I want to let you know that I truly adore you. You're a very loyal watcher, and I truly adore your reviews each week. So please don't read anything into that that's not true. The truth is, Folkland has condensed down to a much shorter version of itself.
Yes.
And we will happily share some highlights from your review every week because we really look forward to them.
Absolutely.
Also, sorry that my rundown let you down last week. I didn't exactly think it was the best one I ever wrote this week. So hope you come back next week.
And to be fair, I was called out for not calling out that there was a crumb in your hair. I didn't see it.
Yeah.
It's hard to see it through this kind of digital back and forth, but I am that friend that if I see something in your teeth or a crumb in your hair in real life, I will let you know, because that is what a good friend does. And I want my friends to do that to me. I get mad when I have something on my face or my hair and none of my family or friends say anything. And I get very upset because I'm like, you guys know.
I'm that friend too. And when I was a very little kid, I had the strangest filling in my tooth that was on the outside, which is so strange, on the outside edge of my tooth. I don't know what that's all about. Heaven only knows what caused it, but it was silver. They didn't do white.
Oh, yes.
And it was over here. And all through our lives, my sis would do that. And she'd be like, oh, you've got a peppercorn. Oh, wait. And then we would always laugh. Well, at some point in my adulthood, a dentist very kindly switched it out to white for the love of all that is, kind in somebody's smile. Nobody needs that dark spot right in the front of their face. And I'm thankful for that. But I had to call my sis. I'm like, I just want you to know the peppercorn is gone forever.
So not only are you white on the outside and inside, your teeth are also very white.
Well, a little bit. I am a coffee drinker, though, so
I
have to use a little breast whitening.
And then Jody W, of course, gave us amazing comments.
Thank you, Jody.
We do love when you separate your little thoughts into your different comments. It's very fun.
Absolutely, Jody.
You're on
to something, girl.
Yes, and I appreciate it. There was this part that I wanted to share. I thought it was some awesome information because Jody is from Des Moines, and she said, Greg Warren mentioned that his friend lives across the street from Slipknot in Des Moines. I'm guessing he meant Corey Taylor, the lead vocalist. I don't listen to Slipknot, but you can't live in Des Moines area and not at least know who they are. I also have a friend who is good friends with Corey, and I believe has known him since they were kids. So there's another 2 degrees of separation between Greg and me. Very, very fun and cool.
Impressive, Jody.
Yeah.
I can't, here in Indiana, I'm not able to do these very short degrees of separation like you are. And you're, off to the side state in the middle of the country. I'm very impressed.
Yeah.
Very.
Yeah. I think that was really funny when we were talking about it.
I worked with a guy who saw John Mellencamp once. There you go.
Yeah, we could jump into that actually when they talked about the 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon. I know that's in the middle of what we're going to talk about, but we can get that out of the way now. Blech, I can't speak. But you were saying that it's actually 6 degrees.
That's how I've always heard it.
I think when I heard him say 7 degrees, I thought, wait, that doesn't sound right to me. And I thought it was really funny how they got to Kevin Bacon, how obscure it was, but also how fun too. And Aaron was really quick to share that. And of course, Brian said, "Oh, I've done all of ours."
Mm-hmm. I loved it. That was impressive. It was, though. And also, I hate to put a rain on their whole parade, but I already 2 episodes ago have declared Nate as being 2 degrees away from Oprah. Okay. That's harder to do.
Yeah, I know. Speaking of, he was on Corden with Jamie Lee Curtis and they talked about that. And I actually appreciated the question that they presented him was how that went down, because she was very intense. Yeah. And I was kind of, I was taken back because I am a fan of hers. I thought, as far as an actress, she's always been funny and very charming. And I think that she's at this place now where she's been there. She's kind of done that. And all these shows are fun for her, which is great. Mm-hmm. But for somebody like Nate, who this is not saying it's not a big deal for her, but it's an extremely big deal for him to sit next to a legend like that. And she was very outgoing. And I could see Nate and I feel like we talked about this a little bit last time, but it was just funny to hear him explaining how he felt and how he was like not even wanting to go to the bathroom to ruin all of it.
I'm not having Jamie Lee Curtis wait on me. And then he said, I couldn't even go to the bathroom if I was thinking that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you know what? He pointed out, he said, he said Corden did a good job about remembering that he was on the couch, even though he's talking to a good friend, and that he called it a pro move, kept engaging him, and she'd put her hand on his shoulder, his leg, or whatever. Mm-hmm. I did too. I noticed that. She was not a bit intimidated to be on that couch.
No, not at all. And I think she could probably sense Nate's nervousness and also his humbleness, and probably, he's just a down-to-earth guy, and she probably just wanted to make sure, like, you good? And so I thought that was cool.
Oh,
so John Augustine, I don't know much about him. I guess I'm gonna have to rewatch that episode. They said television episode, which must have been, they said he was the first guest, and I'm like, I only know his name because my husband knows golf. So,
all right. I don't have much to add to this conversation.
I know. Sorry, John. I bet you're an amazing golfer.
Congratulations, John. You're not watching Folkland right now, but if you were, you would hear encouragement from me. You've made it from college to furthering your career. Well done. I know that about you. Yeah.
I know.
There you go.
So what about Aaron's fake poster bit, his prank? Because I saw it. Did you see it on Instagram? That whole...
I did. I saw. I was familiar with it when they brought it up. You want to know really what I think?
Absolutely.
It's not my kind of humor when you play jokes on people who are unprivy. Like, that's just not... Like Sacha Baron Cohen, what's his name?
Yes.
That's not my style.
I'm the same.
So
I'm the same.
It's just not. Now I have one exception to that rule, and it's not really making fun of anybody. But years ago, there was this British comic duo called Hamish and Andy, and they would do this thing where they played the game called ghosting, it's different now in the social media world than it was then, but they would go up behind somebody and walk behind them as close as they could.
Oh, that's fun.
Until they would notice. And I that's my exception to the people not being involved, because I don't think that's really embarrassing people or hurting anyone. And I'm not trying to pick on Aaron here. It's just not my style of humor. Because
Sorry, it just kind of gets lost sometimes. I think I understand what he was trying to say, but people don't want to hurt his feelings that really love him and care about him.
That's what I'm saying.
So, like, Dusty was trying to give him really good advice, and then Aaron goes, "Oh, so the joke's doesn't really work because he actually was trying to be kind," and he said, "Yeah."
Yeah. And I mean, I'm an encourager by nature, and I never try to speak. And I know we're in a comedy world, and it is all about sometimes ribbing your buddies and such.
Right.
Totally get that angle too. But I mean, like, I'm going to always try to say whatever I can that's life-giving to somebody. But I also have a background, as do you, in graphic design. Mm-hmm. So, it kind of hurts my eyes a little bit too whenever you see bad designs. Like, why don't you just throw a little Times New Roman on there, a little papyrus font. Could use a little more papyrus font, Times New Roman, Comic Sans. That's the one.
Well, Times New Roman too for me. But and I was like, oh, like, it's not the best. I would have just been like, hey, you tried your best, buddy. Like, it's pretty good for what you know. I guess it would be fun. It would be funnier if, like, he was an amazing whiz. And maybe he is, but see, like, I wouldn't know that. Mm-hmm. But I appreciate, him having a wife that tells him straight. I think we need to have a spouse that lets us know, hey, this ain't it, buddy.
This isn't it. And, like, to start with, you didn't even have the right time on that flare. Like, you can, that's not even a matter of opinion. That's truth or fact. Let's start there.
I know. Well, nice try. Maybe stick with your towel bit or something.
Yeah. I liked, by the way, shout out to Dusty Town for the little meme that we saw with the towel.
He's so cute, just sitting there.
Yeah, I left a Folkland comment in the comments. You'll have to read that.
Yeah, and it was hilarious every time. Like Greg was like, "No, seriously, like, do you really do that?" Like he couldn't tell if Aaron was joking around. He just really wanted to know, like, you really need to stop doing that. And that was my favorite thing because I
We
don't think
should have had a towel on Folkland today. Darn it.
I know, I probably have
All
one
right.
around here, but yeah,
So, speaking of teasing your buddies, I mean, we all kind of tease our buddies to agree. I hope I didn't sound like a total prude there when I said it wasn't my style of comedy. We do tease our buddies, and I tease mine, and mine tease me. They gave Greg a lot of teasing today, or this week on Nateland.
Yeah.
They teased him a lot, and one of the funniest bits was talking about his computer knowledge and his computer training.
Yeah.
I enjoyed watching, Nate is such an even keeled guy when it comes to his expressions. And he had some real facial expression changes in those conversations as they kept coming up.
Yeah. I thought that was really hilarious because, first of all, Brian was so excited that he was there. He even said, "I'm so excited that you're taking the heat for being older." Because it was just, they always like rag on him, and Greg's like, "How old do you guys think I am? I had a computer." Until Nate was talking about having to wheel it out, like you had to like struggle with it, and I just could imagine that in my head.
Yeah, and I imagine that some people somewhere out there between the 1960s and now did learn some computer stuff. It sure wasn't, and the first time I ever got on the internet was at college. Myself, the first time I ever did HTTP : / I was in college, and put in a web page, and I don't even know why we did it. We didn't have social media in those days. I don't even really know what we wanted to be on the internet for. I mean,
I know,
but we were all in there in one big room, a computer lab, and I'll tell you what happened as a result. Probably all of our vitamins were low. I'm guessing.
Oh, right.
All of us.
Right. Of course. The vitamins are low.
We were all getting low vitamins on that.
Your vitamins are low. I know. Yeah. I thought when they were making up this movie idea and saying how, Greg is going to be in this like movie, he's going to be sponsored by Ben Gay and Icy Hot. And I when he said Icy Hot, I said, yeah, I could actually use one right now. That actually sounds really good.
You might have a little low vitamins, Jacy. I'm just saying.
Maybe.
On the topic of that movie, then they were talking about Vecchione would be a wrestler, and then Nate's like, well, one of his promoters, I can't remember, a manager.
Right.
One of those guys also, and I'm like, that's good because when you make a movie that involves a sport, you need many people who have that sports background. So this all works to your favor, Nateland Productions. And also, I can send you my email if you need more handy tips on those scripts.
Of course.
Because you're heading into the Nateland verse. I like that. It sounded like the plot of an Adam Sandler movie. If I've
yes, yeah, which we know Nate wants to do, and maybe Maybe it'll take place in Europe. It'll be a European golfer wrestling movie.
The Belgian Blammer. That's who he has to go up against.
So when they were talking about Belgium, Norway. It was Norway. The Scream painting was in Norway, and that there was like 4 of them, and one got stolen. That was pretty fascinating to me.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that about, I know we're artsy people, but I didn't know that. I thought that was very fascinating.
It was really arrogant of the person, like, nice security. I'm like, it reminded me of one of the Oceans movies. The one of the Oceans, I think it was Ocean's 13 that took place over in Europe. I was like, it's that guy, the cat burglar guy who could scale the building. That's who left that note.
Yeah.
Maybe we're just mixing up the plot of Ocean's 13 with real life. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. So what about Norway getting 44 weeks of fully paid maternity leave and men getting 6 weeks? I think, and they were like, it's almost a year. And I'm like, yeah, that would be amazing.
That's only the first year that those parents aren't getting any sleep. I'll say that.
True. That is true.
I think it's a great thing. And I'm not necessarily a numbers person, but I will say I know in the U.S. maternity leave and paternity leave are pretty low on the pie chart for the developed world. And I had read a study a couple of years back. You go ahead and Google this, folks. I don't know the numbers, but they did say, like, Google, I think it was Google. I don't know what'll happen if you Google, but I think Google had led the way in our nation for giving more maternity leave. And then the results came back and they found like 90% of their employees came back after leave because the added time, the additional time made that big of a difference. Whereas a new parent who's exhausted and not even their best version of themselves, having to take this tiny infant, give it back so soon, it's a very tough separation for them to go back to work exhausted and, do both jobs well. And they're going to rightfully choose their family a lot of times. I hope so. So there you go.
Yeah. And I'm sure the guys didn't have much to say on this topic, so it's probably a good thing that they didn't like delve into it. But I thought it was very interesting that Bates brought it up.
Also, Nate, apparently you're running a mini marathon and you didn't even know it because you said you were doing that running plan. So I just want to say you should do a goal. My husband is a runner, and gosh, it's been like 10 years ago now. I ran a mini marathon with him here in Indiana. I think the one that I ran, it's this one, not this hat isn't from that year, but it was green. But the One America mini marathon, the 500, I think it's the biggest one in the whole nation, which means that when you're running, you're like elbow to elbow with people for a lot of the first part. So
that's not fun for me.
Pleasant. Yeah, It was a very, very difficult goal for me, and I was very emotional as I was making my way towards the end. And then somebody would read your name on your thing, and they'd go, "You can do it, Brandi! Almost done!" And then I'm like, I can do it. I can. Somebody's holding up a sign. It's, words have weight, and what we say matters. And you don't even know how strong your encouragement can be sometimes. But it was also like they were taking people away on stretchers from that race because the humidity was way, way up high.
Oh, man.
And it was miserable. I want to say this one thing. Greg was talking about his dad saying, you can't stop. You can't stop and walk. I want to tell you, wrap your mind around this. You can. You can stop and walk and still run a race. And that is probably the best bit of training that I got. A gentleman, friend, and mentor that I looked up to, he said to me when I was nervous, I was like, I don't know if I can do that many miles. And he said, you're going to go through the water stations and you're not going to pass any of the water stations up. You're going to stop at every water station and get water. He said, I just want you to walk through them. That's all. Stop running, walk through the water stations, and then run again. And it gave this very smart man, Jeff, he changed his life. He had a quadruple bypass in his 50s, and the doctor said, you need to make a change. And he did. He changed his diet, and he changed his life and started running. And I looked up to him, and he gave me that advice, and it changed the trajectory of my training, and it got me through that mini marathon. I literally stopped at every water station, grabbed water, and walked, and then I ran again. And I'll tell you what, I finished the race. I did. Thank you, Jeff. You're full of wisdom.
I like that idea.
You can do it, Nate. If I can do it, you can do it. My husband does he's done, I want to say 4 full marathons and several countless mini marathons. So anyway, this is his hat that he got this year, and I was like, can I wear it because it's green?
So I do have a question though. There weren't more bicycles than people, right? And there weren't anybody throwing bikes, right?
There were no bicycles because it was just a marathon. It wasn't a triathlon. What do I not get the reference?
No, you don't.
Okay.
They were talking about, I think it was in Belgium or the Netherlands, I can't remember, but that there's more bicycles than people. And that's all that they use for their transportation. Until somebody made the comment, I can't remember, it might have been Aaron, that it's kind of like the equivalent of like guns here in our country. And so
that's interesting.
Nate started talking about that is like their guns, that they just throw bicycles at people.
Oh, I do not. I must have checked out for that because this conversation,
buddy.
I watched this twice.
Asking me about bikes. Jacy, it's a marathon. There's no bikes.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. No, I don't know why, after watching Nateland twice this week, that I am unaware of this conversation, but it is funny. I'm the bicycle.
I know, just tossing it
Yeah.
at people. Well, all
Anyway,
right.
other than those things, I don't have a lot of experience. I haven't been to Europe. Maybe one day I'll make her over there, but I look forward to what Nate has to say. I've enjoyed his stories on Instagram this week that he's been posting, and I'm hoping that Harper and Laura have had a great trip as well, and that it's been a good one for their family.
Yeah, definitely. I wish I can contribute too, but I haven't been yet. My husband has when he was younger, and he really wants to go back with our little family now. And so I wish I had some stories about Europe, but I don't. I really enjoyed what they talked about on the podcast, even though, of course, they get derailed all the time, which is the humor of it all. But if you guys have stories, if you have European stories, put it in the comments. I'd love to read them, and we can chat a little bit about that next week. But
we appreciate your comments. We have people who watch Folkland every week, and I mean, God bless you. We do not take that lightly. We thank you. And, we had a very special comment written to us in our inbox this week, too, from a really faithful Folkland watcher, I guess you'd say. And I want you to know those kind of things bless our hearts, to know that we can make you smile. And thank you. Leave us a comment below. It'll make our day. And you never know, you might be our next folk quote, too, on Instagram.
Yeah, definitely. So, folks, we don't have anything else to say about Europe.
Jacy.
What?
I just got a text.
Okay.
Jen, she's in 3rd place. It's going well.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
She's in 3rd place. Way to go.
Awesome.
All right.
I know she wanted to go see the tulips after, so hopefully she can get to that.
Yeah, but I didn't expect her this real early in her game for her to be in 3rd place. This girl's on a tear.
I know. She's been training real hard. Yeah. Just pounding that Gatorade.
She must be doing good, pounding the Gatorade. She had time to text me. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. What
She's
a boss.
Beast. Yeah. All right, folks.
See you later.
Ciao. Oh, Jacy, thank you for having tea with me this afternoon.
My pleasure.
So, what have you got going on this week?
Oh, nothing much, really.
Oh, delightful. Did your daughter ever get things cleared up with her scandal?
Yes, we've shipped her off promptly. Thank you.
This boarding house is the best place for her.
Oh.
Over here on my side, well, there was this Yank coming over from America. Have you heard of him? Nathaniel something Italian. Although
he's a gardener.
The gardener? Your gardener's Italian, is that right?
Yes.
Oh, I thought he was a little chap from the east side with one of those little page boy hats. No?
I don't know. He tends to like meatballs and spaghetti.
Oh, maybe he's Italian. I see. Well, this Bagazzi, Nathaniel Bagazzi fellow, I guess he tells the jokes.
Oh, it sounds rather dry.
Yes, they said he doesn't even use our colorful British words, the ones that the Americans gasp about.
Oh, must be dreadful.
Yeah, probably something for children's programming. Anyway, tell me more about your gardener.
Well, I don't know. I believe he's going to get fired. He doesn't even know how to rake properly.
Dreadful.
You would think he'd never seen one in his life.
It's impossible to get good help these days.
Maybe I need to call that Nathaniel chap. His comedy doesn't work out.
It's true. If he has some Italian background, he might be good at the meatballs and the gardening.